Hello world, I'm Chris Perillo, and you're watching TLDR, the LockerGnome Daily Reports. Ha, you thought I was going to say too long didn't read, didn't you? You weren't expecting me to be wearing a creeper mask today, were you? Well, that's because we're celebrating Creeper Week on LockerGnome.com. Don't know if you've been visiting there lately, but every week we're going to take on a new geeky, nerdy theme for everybody. And I don't know if you're a fan of Minecraft. I think most of our community is. I kind of like the way the creepers are designed, and since I've never really, been plagued by a creeper personally, other than Diana, she doesn't really count as a creeper though. I decided to do Creeper Week, starting with the mask thing. Here, let me show you. Give me a second. I will pull. Are you laughing, hun? Mm-hmm. Okay, I couldn't really hear you very well because the creeper doesn't have ears in that way. You head over to LockerGnome.com right now. You'll see a list of awesome things, including what's going to be a growing set of creeper stuff this week. Next week, I think is next week Star Wars week, or is that the week after? We're doing a pun week, a neon or glowing week, all sorts of fun stuff at LockerGnome.com. And before I continue, let me go ahead and remove the creeper masks. By the way, if you want one of these, you can have one. We've got the links in the video's description, or of course on LockerGnome.com. Thank you to the 718 patrons helping make these types of videos possible. I really, really appreciate your enduring support, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do stuff like this. As well as later today, I'm going to be doing the What Would You Do video for the public. I do 5 of those a week, but only one of them can be seen by everybody. The other 4 will be private just for patrons. You can become a patron by clicking the link in this video's description. It's really easy to do. ChrisPerillo.com. Did I not turn that off effectively? I suck at it. ChrisPerillo.com will redirect you to the proper link. Okay, now, I have to apologize, kind of, to everybody out there who was following me on Instagram. I flooded everybody yesterday with all of the pictures of the Lego Simpsons minifigures, which, of course, I happened to unbag live on YouTube in another video in this Geek Lifestyles channel, and the people who tuned in really liked it, and we're really kind of excited about this. Probably the most popular Facebook share of my entire life was related to the Lego minifigures of The Simpsons. These will generally become available starting on May 1st this year. Probably one of the more popular toys to be released in 2014. Not just because Lego, but Lego and The Simpsons. Perfect combination. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I did want to let you know that live video, about 40 minutes long, of the unbagging is already in this channel, and individual pictures posted throughout my social accounts, despite having flooded everybody. I will also be doing some videos with the Simpsons minifigures from Lego, because I know that's going to be popular, number one. Number two, I want to see if we can do some epic shots with video and the figures and in different poses and positions, giving you guys close-ups and making it a tighter type of edited video that I will not have to edit. Those are my favorite kind of edited videos, the ones that I do not have to edit. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in live on this live broadcast. Got some news for you. Netflix, and I'm a fan of Netflix, may be raising prices by $1. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. Initially, this is going to be for new subscribers, so if you were on the fence, you're debating, should we get Netflix, should we wait? Get it now. Now, eventually that price will hit existing subscribers, but that fee hike, $1, going up $1 a month, is going to be out for all new subscribers. To me, is it a big deal? Yeah, but it's $1. It's really not that bad. It really isn't. Believe you me, I paid $5 this weekend for Diana's Easter eggs because they were green. That's why I got the Easter eggs for Diana, but those were crappy eggs for Easter eggs. They didn't snap together very well. It was cheap. So I was like, that $5, overpriced. Versus the $1 hike for Netflix. And don't get me wrong, I'd rather pay, not little money, fewer money, less money knew I'd find the word eventually. For Netflix, then, if they continue to increase it, but I understand. I mean, they certainly have costs that they need to cover. And this is one of the reasons why they've decided to do the price hike. Are people going to leave in droves? It's possible, but I really don't believe that $1 a month is really that much to ask for, especially in relation to the type of service that Netflix is providing. Now, if they jumped, let's say, to, what is it? It's $8 a month. So if they jump to, say, $20 a month, I don't know for my usage if I get that much out of Netflix. From at $10 a month to $20 a month. That's a pretty big leap for me in my usage with Netflix. But then again, I'm also growing a family. Actually, Diana, technically speaking, is growing the family inside her. She's gestating right now, and she's just eating. Just eating and gestating. Sounds, it sounds funny when you write it down. I posted a joke on Twitter, one of the more popular things I've tweeted lately.
Really?
Yeah. I said that there's a female melon, and she says to the male melon, hey, we should run away and get married in secret. And then the male melon says, but we can't elope. I got like 20 plus tweets on that thing.
That was my drum.
See, it's like, it's geeky fun pun. We're going to have pun week on LockerGnome too. I love puns, plays on words. It's fun being a nerd and being a geek and talking about this kind of stuff on a regular basis. Speaking of growing a family, I do need to make people aware that D-Link sent this baby monitor, a Wi-Fi baby camera. Now, that does not mean that our baby is going to be coming with Wi-Fi, right?
Right.
We may be issuing a firmware update to baby Pirillo, but until then, we can use the Wi-Fi baby camera. Day and night HD cloud camera. Right there. Look at all those blue features. Or pink features. See? Pink. Blue. We are not going to announce the gender of baby Pirillo. I think we've decided until we reach 1,000 patrons, or if and when, you guys may find out before. And then we got to let the patrons decide whether or not we make the gender public, as we know it. Because the gender may change. Not inside of Diana's belly. Can't really do that. But I guess sometimes the doctors think it's one gender, and then it turns out to be another gender entirely. Via patron Matthew Almany, Nintendo is celebrating its 25th anniversary of the Game Boy. Wow. I remember my Game Boy. Loved my Game Boy. Tetris. That was my game on Game Boy. That was the killer app for the Game Boy for me. Never really used the Game Boy or played games on the game. Oh, no, Dr. Mario. I also like that one. But I'm trying to think of any other games that I really got hooked on with the Game Boy. The Game Boy Advance certainly had a lot more games that I played on it. Star Wars games. I remember playing an Attack of the Clones 3D game, but the screen was so small, it was kind of difficult to see for what it was. But still enjoyed that. I sold my Game Boy not long after I had it. I may have had it for 6 months, maybe a year. Sold it to get a Game Gear. A Sega Game Gear. Not because of the game selection, really, but the screen was just so beautiful. I mean, you went from monochromatic to color, period. That was a big leap. But that's why I sold my Game Boy. And I can't remember how many cartridges I had at that time, but I sold it. It'd be kind of fun. I wonder if there are still working Game Boys out there. There probably are. They're probably really expensive, too. Because I'd get a Game Boy just to play Tetris. Or Dr. Mario. Even though, I could do that on anything these days. There's just something about that original Game Boy. Classic. 25 years. Happy birthday, Game Boy. Glad to have had you in my life. The Loch Ness Monster was not spotted in Apple Maps. Despite what news had suggested, there was... I know, Diana. She told me on Saturday, she said, did you see that the Loch Ness Monster was spotted on Apple Maps? I'm like, wow, it actually found something? Boom, boom. See, I mean, why I should have tweeted that.
Yeah.
No, actually, turns out it didn't find it. It was more than likely, a boat that was blurred out for privacy reasons. Because it was like the boat in the wake, and you can actually see the shape of the boat, in the impression that was made. It was not Nessie.
Or do they want us to believe?
Oh, God, Diana. Okay, why don't you just, before you start spouting off, just grab your tinfoil hat. Let's just complete the ensemble here. No Loch Ness. For you. No, the Loch Ness, I think, wait. The Loch Ness, it's the Ness Loch. It's a place in Scotland. The Loch Ness. No, not the. Loch Ness. Ness, I think, is the place. Does it look like I've ever been to Scotland? I kilt you not. Because I haven't. Next bit of news come down the pike. And it really has kind of been a slow-ish news day as I was, kind of scanning for headlines. And by the way, thank you, Matthew Almany. He also noted that Domino's Pizza is now going to let you pay with Google Wallet and give you free chicken in the process. Which is kind of nice. I got Google Wallet on my iPhone. Mind blown! I know, Android people don't like talking about that. How much Apple software can you get on Android? Pop quiz. Now, how much Google software can you get on iOS? A lot more than Apple software on Android. So I could use Google Wallet and get free chicken, which I guess I would be a fan of. I don't mind free chicken, so long as it's not chicken salad. And if you do not understand why that's funny, you have not been keeping up with the Perillo vlogs, which I kind of said this out loud. I think in the vlog, I think it made the cut in editing it. I'm thinking about launching a separate email newsletter just for people to sign up for when we post a new Perillo vlog. That's it. Or not just Perillo vlog, really. Any new video on YouTube. In either channel. We will let you know. I don't know. Do we have to launch two separate ones? Do we have to launch a Perillo vlog newsletter and a Geek Lifestyles newsletter? I'm just a fan of email notifications. And I think people are missing what I know, because in YouTube you can even say, yes, I want email notifications when this person sends a new video, but I don't know how much I trust YouTube when it comes to notifications these days. I really, genuinely do not. Matthew Almany notes, as he's watching this video live, in comments, he says, I had a teal Game Boy Color. Never had a Game Boy Color. I had the classic Game Boy. Never had the color. A little bit of Perillo trivia for everybody out there. Samsung has opened a self-obsessed innovation museum in Korea. So if you believe that Samsung is innovative, you may want to go to that museum. The museum itself may be innovative. Oh, hon, why'd you have to bring beef in here? Start talking about chicken, and then she gets all proteiny in the corner there. So what's interesting about this is people now, and entities, I mean, not just people who work for these publishing entities have come out and they haven't exactly lambasted like the Galaxy Gear Fit or, the smartwatch thing that whatever wrist you would wear it on from Samsung. But they are saying that it's great idea. I need to work on the implementation. So I'm just saying that's what they're saying about Samsung stuff. You can judge for yourself. If you like Samsung stuff, that's completely up to you. I was reading a tweet and it was actually kind of interesting. This guy tweeted and he says, I think someone should always choose a Samsung whatever, period. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's a pretty dramatic decision. And then in his profile he says, I will always support Samsung forever until I die. I'm like, wow. That's bad. I don't know. I wouldn't do that. The only thing I'll probably support until I die is Star Wars. That's really the only brand. The prequels pushed me to my edge. Prequels really kind of pushed me there. I don't know. There's a soft spot on my head for Star Wars.
On your head.
If I said in my heart, people would be worried. Chris, get into a doctor. You're not supposed to have that. Let's see here. I'm checking. I'm checking. George Baker. I was looking at the comments. See, at some point, as I'm able to expand my team and bring in someone here to sit with me, not just Diana, because I appreciate you, but I mean like on the production team side of things. As I roll through the list of credits, if you want to have your website featured here every day in TLDR or your name, you can become a patron at a certain level. George Baker noted, and I saw where it was. Maybe it wasn't George, or it scrolled. He was saying, someone was saying that I can get the Game Boy online. I can still get it. I mean, it's older. It's like an antique, like me. Amidst layoffs, Nike is set to kill production of the FuelBand. while we're on the subject of wearables. So yeah, that's I guess going bye-bye. It's curious, you know, and just think about this. Now I'm not the kind of guy who likes spreading rumors. I really don't. I don't like doing it. I don't like speculating. However, it's interesting to me that Nike would be doing this with the FuelBand, and I do believe that Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, wears a Nike FuelBand. Makes you kind of wonder what's on the horizon with Apple if and when they get into the wearables market. If. It's a big, gigantic if. Because here's the thing. The wearables market, the market cap is so small in comparison to, say, smartphones or tablets. You know, for a wearable to work, it's got to work so incredibly well. I don't want to dive into that too deeply right now because today's WWDD, no, I'm sorry, WMD, no, that's not it either. What would you do? WWYD is from David Bates, a patron. See, the patrons get to pose those questions. He says, I have a phone. Why do I need a watch, smart or otherwise? What would you do? So I'm going to address that in a separate video today. But other bits of news at this point. Aereo, this company that basically makes an antenna that you can use to pull in broadcast signals and, you know, DVR them and do whatever you want to with them, you know, time shift the content. Their case is going all the way to the Supreme Court. About 30 years ago, the publishing industry, and we're talking producers, like video producers, like, you know, traditional content producers, like TV networks, they said that VCRs would kill, absolutely decimate television production. It would decimate video production. Really? So 30 years later, what did the VCR do? Well, it blinked 12 o'clock. A lot. That's the one thing I miss, really. That's what I want in iOS 8. People keep asking, I want the clock to blink 12 o'clock. There needs to be an app for that. You know, just at 12 o'clock. There probably is. If not, watch that be the next. Someone's going to charge 99 cents and people are going to download it and they're going to make $1 billion. That's what you get for not being a developer. So, either way, it's gone all the way to the Supreme Court. They're arguing that, or I guess, you know, television producers are arguing that Aereo in their technology is circumventing the system and effectively, you know, not paying for the content that they're rebroadcasting. And I think that, you know, as someone who does video production, I understand the value of that content or repurposing that content. But I don't know if what Aereo is doing could be accommodated in the marketplace. I think there's a need. Aereo is filling a need that exists. And I think the idea of local affiliates for news, it's a dying breed. I mean, they're valuable, but I just think that yesteryear's broadcasting model is completely outmoded. Completely. You know how I get my news? Social. Oh, hun, well, you didn't. How? Did you really have to ask how? Mm-hmm. It was a rhetorical question. How did you think I was going to answer?
I don't know.
She's partially in a food coma right now. Or she's choking. I'm not throwing any balls. I don't do that. I can't. Even if I did, I'd completely miss the target. That's what I do. So I think that the industry is being forced to change. And technology is making it easier and easier and easier for you to get to the things that you want to get to. So let me give you an example. I have HBO, if only because I like Game of Thrones and I want to, watch Game of Thrones. I recorded on the DVR. I've got a cloud-based DVR in the house. We got the Xfinity X1 system in the house. Recorded it, but it didn't record it in HD. And I'm like, I was so upset. I'm like, oh man, I want to watch Game of Thrones in HD. And I want to watch it now. I want it now. Give it to me now. So I fired up my app and AirPlayed it to the TV. I was able to watch within the hour, I think, of when it was originally broadcast on HBO. I could watch it on HBO Go. And you know what? That's the way it should be. Period. End of story. I'm big into not just paying a la carte, but paying specifically for the type of programming that I want to watch. I'm a fan of that. I really am. If HBO disintermediated and eliminated everything, from their table, and just allowed you to pay for shows a la carte, I'd do that. I'd pay for Game of Thrones, just to watch it. What do we pay HBO Now? What is it, $10 a month? That's a lot. 10 for one show that airs once a week, not even every week for the entire year. Like, how many episodes are in a season? 12, maybe? 10, 12, 14, maybe? So, it doesn't necessarily add up for that type of content, but it's very well done. If they said, all right, you can now watch Game of Thrones and get access to the entire library of Game of Thrones and all this bonus stuff for $1 a month, I'm like, I'm in. Or even if would I be willing to pay $5 a month for Game of Thrones? If they offered me more, I suppose I would, because you don't get a new episode every week, right? It's but it's all about paying a la carte, and depending on how much value they're giving you and how much you want it. I've gone on record by saying I would absolutely pay for a Star Wars channel, 110% Star Wars channel. I'd probably pay for a toy channel too. I really would. That's the kind of geek I am. You're wondering why I'm waxing pathetic on these topics. It's because, like I said, it's kind of a slow day, being a Monday. Over the weekend, we featured this last week, a Star Wars microfighter. Assembled it pretty quickly. And this is the Millennium Falcon with a Han Solo minifigure, which, according to the box, is a newer Han Solo minifigure. Always a fan of Han there. Pretty nice build, pretty quick build. Pretty sturdy, too. I dropped it, and it stayed in one pieces. Isn't that funny? One pieces. We are going to be getting together with Barnacules Nerdgasm again. Yes, we saw him this weekend over the house on our live stream, which everyone seems to love. This week, we're going over to our friend's house again to purchase some more Star Wars toys, just like we did the other day. I've made a request for some Troopers, Jabba stuff, Cantina stuff, and we'll see how much they run. But it's a pretty good sale, and Jerry loves Star Wars too, and toys, so he's going to take the trek with me. We'll see if I can round up a few more friends to make that journey with me. It's just got to be trusted people that I know that I would trust in my own home, really, because we're going into somebody else's house, as you likely saw in the Pirillo vlog the other day. So yes, my toy collection expands by the day. Someone asked what I would do if and I think I've mentioned this before, like what I would do if my kid, one kid, because we're having 7 of them, and not at the same time. I think right. That's what we talked about, 7 or 2, give or take. 5. Not a really strong math person. 7, I think, is what we're thinking. The the idea that one of my children would not be interested in the same thing I am. They say, well, what do you do if they don't like Star Wars or Lego or technology or the geeky things that you like? What if they don't like sushi? What if they don't like the things you like? And, well, here's what you do to a kid like that. If they don't like the same things I like, I'm going to put my foot down and love them unconditionally. That's what you do. Even if they love sports. Even if. And that, that's like a knife in my back right there. Like, you are my sperm! Why? Why, child of mine? What did I do? What did I do to deserve this? Oh, the humanity! And the stuffiness that comes with allergies. That was a thank you for bringing up the water. I appreciate that. Your water is looking really orange. It's orange juice? Mm-hmm. Okay. Watered down orange juice even. Wow. Taking it nice and slow. Today we are going to be celebrating Easter a day later because Diana suggested we can get our candy the day after Easter when it's on sale. I'm a fan of that. I don't know if our kids are going to be a fan of that. I think we're going to have to tell our kids, no. This year, Easter gets celebrated a day later.
It is Easter Monday, right?
It's Easter. We can call it Easter Monday even if it wasn't. And I think that's the best way of doing it because you can save massive amounts of money. We can just arguably get twice as much candy. Do you want this much candy or do you want twice as much candy? Huh? And then see what you do is you just get how much you were going to get anyway. And just say, this is twice as much as you would have had before. Jedi mind trick them. See, I'm thinking ahead, really, with that kid thing and candy. Let's see here. Just checking the comments. Nothing's really been updating. You pay for TV that has adverts in it? Asks George Baker. Doesn't bother me. Advertisements really don't bother me that much. They don't. They bother other people, but they don't. They really don't bug me that much. Sometimes I like the ads because they give me a chance to check email. You know, or what? I'm just saying. I'm being realistic.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm being transparent.
You can go grab a drink.
Grab a drink. Giggle with my wife. Can't do that during a show. Except for Diana. Diana always loves walking up in the middle of a show. And what's going on? What's happening? Who's that?
No, I don't.
Really?
When?
All the time. You're doing it now.
He's lying.
I am lying. No, I'm actually sitting down. Hun, oh, I wish I could show everybody the position of Wicket's suckling you right now. He's in the he's assuming the position of breastfeeding. But he's the dog, huh? Are you practicing?
What if he bit me?
If he bit you, you would squirt. Never mind. So, obviously, I have killed any ability to move on from that. And we've stretched for about a half hour here today. And thank you for bearing with me on these slower news days and playing along. And I'm going to, in another half hour or so, rebroadcast that video, or the new video. Rebroadcast? I'm just going to broadcast. You'll be able to watch the recording if you're not a patron. You'll be able to watch it live if you are a patron. Talking about what would you do? I have a phone. Why do I need to watch, smart or otherwise? What would you do? That question will be answered later today. Thank you, everybody, for remembering to like, share, comment, subscribe, watch even more of our videos right now. Stay tuned, because we're working on a podcast. As we reached a certain level of patronage, if they clear, we'll be able to do that starting this next month. And I don't yet know how that's going to happen, but we will make it happen. That's the goal. Thank you, everybody, for your support. However you decide to support us, however you can. Really do appreciate it, because I wouldn't be able to do what I do for you without you doing what you do. And hopefully that's interacting in whatever way you possibly can. Wish I could be in a million places at once. Unfortunately, I can only be here. So at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. We'll see you later.